So welcome to the training video for Cascade, which is our new online HR system. This training video is aimed at line managers, and there is a training video for employees, so please make sure you're watching the appropriate one. To access the system, you'll usually do this via the intranet, so we will have a link set up from there, or we'll also send a link round by email that you can just click on. You should find that you're automatically taken through to the system, and you shouldn't actually see this log on screen. We have activated single sign-on, so it will automatically recognise who you are. But for the purposes of this training video, I'm just going to sign in here. So the first time you access the system each day, you'll take through to this welcome screen, which just gives you a reminder that some of the data that you may see may be personal data, so you just need to be sensitive to data protection and be mindful of that data. If you find that the font size is too small and you want to increase it, you can just do so in your browser settings. So just click up here and you can size it as you find appropriate. So simply click accept and you'll come through to Cascade. So this is the first screen that you'll see. This is your dashboard screen. So as a line manager, you have access to these dashboards. They may not be particularly informative at the moment, but as we start using Cascade more and more, you'll find that there's more relevant information coming through on your dashboards, and we can customize them as time goes on to meet your needs more appropriately. I'm not going to focus too much on exactly what the information they hold, but I guess the main ones are that you can see here of all your employees. In this case, it's all employees you can access, who's at work, who's not due to be working today. Obviously, once we move holidays and absences into the system, this dashboard icon will become a lot more meaningful. But also, my request summary, and we'll talk about those a bit more, and task lists and activity done by your team. To access your own HR record, if you come over to the left-hand menu and click on My Record, this will take you through to the main screen. So you'll see on your main screen, on your left-hand side, you've got various bits of information about your role, so your job title, who you work for, where you sit within the organisation. So if you hover over this, it will give you your full hierarchy location. And on the main bit of the screen, there's a bit more information about you, perhaps a bit more personal, so your date of birth or your marital status, but also your basic contact details. And then if you click in the drop down arrow here, you'll see a list of the other screens that are currently available to you. Again, as we start moving using Cascade more and more, there'll be more options in this list and more information that you can access. I'll come back to that list in a minute, but for now I just want to show you how to make changes to information. So you can't change everything, and some of the information in the system is read-only, but there are some things you can change. So to change something, if you click on this button at the bottom that says Change Request, it will take you into an editable version of the screen. So again, not every field can be changed, but those that can are quite clear. So if you decide that you want to change your ethnic origin, you can do so here, and perhaps you've got married. Once you're happy with the changes that you've made, if you click on Submit Request, you can add a bit more information at this stage. Click Continue, and you'll get a confirmation screen that your request is being processed. Now, at any point you can check on the status of that request in your left-hand menu here, but at this point, if we click on My Request down here, then you get taken straight through to your requests screen. Now, this will show you that you've submitted a request to update something on your main screen, that it's gone from you, and the authorization route is that it's gone to the HR business partner authorization group. So it means that they're currently processing the change. Once they've had a chance to look at it, perform any appropriate actions that they need to do within the HR activities, and then they will accept your change and it will be automatically updated into your record. At the moment you can see that it's still in progress because you've got a sort of smiley face here. Once that is green, it means that the process has been approved. But you can check the progress here when you click on Show. It will take you through to the screen. It will show you highlight the fields that you've asked to be changed. Okay, and it tells you that you've asked to change from blank to married, and again. If at this point you decide that you want to change your mind, and you can delete the request here. But assuming you want to go ahead, we'll go back to the request screen. Now obviously as we roll out the system, there's going to be quite a few requests coming through to the HR team, so please don't expect an immediate turnaround on any data that you update in the system, but as I said, you can check the progress at any point by clicking on the My Requests on the left hand side, and it will show you. Okay, so coming back to My Record here on the left hand side, to go back to your main screen, let's just take you through the other screens that you can access at this stage. So if you click on the drop down arrow, you'll see that you can access your bank details, so any bank details that we hold for you currently you should find listed here. If you see that they're incorrect or you need to update them, again follow the same process by clicking on Change Request and editing those details. We also have a screen here called Death in Service Benefit. For those of you that don't know, Death in Service Benefit is payable in the event of your death whilst employed by the NDCS. All staff up to the age of 65 are eligible for this benefit. We need you to go and update your beneficiaries so that we know that we've got the most up-to-date information. So this is an important job for you to do. So just to do this, if you click on, as before, click on Change Request, and if you update this information here, so that your percentages add up to 50%. Also, if you put down a child, so someone under the age of 18, there are some rules and regulations about what age they need to be before they can receive the money, so you might want to check with HR if you've got any concerns about that. Once you've done that, again, just submit your request. And that will go through to the HR team to process that request. And again, if you click on My Request, you can see that that has been submitted, and you can click on Show, and again it will show you that you've updated that screen and it's waiting to be confirmed by HR. Okay, so going back to your record and the other screens that you can access, if you're in a regulated post, you'll find that we're starting to populate information into this screen about your information about your disclosure check, your DBS, your PVG, your Access NI. So you should start to find that information get populated. We have a screen for your emergency contact. Now this is an example of a screen where you can update the information directly. You don't have to wait for HR to approve a change request. So if you look at this and find that the information that's in there is incorrect, or perhaps it's out of date, if you click on View, you can update the record here. And if you click Save, you'll see that that is immediately updated into your record. You can also add another emergency contact if you wish. So again, the only field here that's mandatory is mobile phone, but the more information you can fill in here, the better. If you click Save, you'll see that that has automatically been added to your screen as well. The other screens you can access are your home address. So again, if you need to update that, if something has changed, if you're moving, you can update the record. This is an example of a screen where you can update the record directly and the changes will be reflected. But HR will receive notification that you've updated your address so they can make the appropriate changes in the other systems. Main will take you back to your main screen, and then if you come to salary and reward, this will give you a summary of some important information about your work at NDCS. So for example, your current salary, any pension contributions. It will eventually feed in your annual leave entitlement once we bring those into the system, and any other salary allowances you have. And then also some important information about your contract, your current grade, your spinal point, if you're due an increment, when that's due, what your hours are, and what your place of work is. So those are the main pieces of information you can access about your own record. If you're a line manager, you'll find that you can also access information about your direct reports. Now you will find that the information you can access about them is restricted, so you don't see as much information about them as you do about yourself. But again, you can use the drop-down menu at the top to navigate around to access various different screens for your employees. So if you find the screen you want to go to and then click into an employee, again you'll see that it looks very much like your record, but with more screens blanked out, more pieces of information blanked out. You can use these little arrows across the top to scroll through your different direct reports, so you can just scroll through nice and easily and find out the information. Again, if you come here, you can scroll through using the arrows to see the various different bits of information. Now some information you will find is restricted, so bank, for example, you don't have access to bank details for your employees. If you have an employee that is leaving, you will find that you'll be able to access information about on the leaver screen, so it will give you dates when they've given notice and when they're due to leave the organisation. The higher up you are in the organisation, the more people you're likely to have access to. It depends how you're set up in the system and what access rights you have. But you may, for example, find that you have access to your wider team, so that might include more people. It might include your the people that report into your direct reports. Or you may find that you can access even more employees via all employees I can access. It just depends really on how you're set up in the system. But for each one you should find that you have a similar view and a similar level of access. The other things on the left hand menu to point out, if you click on my home page, it will always take you back to your dashboard. My requests we've also talked about, which will take you back to your request screen. The other useful thing that is active in the system at the moment is if you come into reports and analysis, you can access an organisation chart. So if you click on this, it opens in a new screen. You can just maximise it like this, and you can use this employee picker field at the top to decide who you want to start with. So let's start with Susan. Find her on the list, and you will see that suddenly you can see a lot more information about the organisation. Now you can do all sorts of things with this org chart. You can change the depth, so you can increase it to 5. So while it thinks about that, so that will enable you to see more levels within the organisation. So you can see that you can go down further. You can come down and click down and see who's within each team. You can change the colour of the boxes should you wish. You can change the size of them. You can take job titles off and on, so all sorts of things you can do with the org chart. And it's also in a separate window, so when you've finished looking at it, you can just close it here. We don't recommend you print it; it doesn't print well, but it's good to view on screen. Okay, so then just coming back to my record, back to your main screen, brings you back to your key piece of information. So again, as we start using the system more and more, there will be more information and more actions you can do within the system. And we'll continue to provide user guides and videos to help you with the new functionality. If you have any questions, please direct them towards HR if they're HR related. If they're more technical, so something in the system's not working as it should, then please log them with the HR help desk. I hope you enjoy the system and that if you find it useful and helps you carry out your work more efficiently. And any questions, please let us know.